Alrighty guys, we're back for some Primal Sultai, and this is a Streets of New Capenna standard build. We're going to go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, for anyone who may not know, I'm Redcat, and I play aggro decks and any decks with red in them as well, so I hope that sounds fun to you guys. So what do we got in the build here? First of all, it kind of has all 5 colors, which is pretty cool. The Path of Peril cleave cost has white, and the Valky can, on the backside, be played as Tybalt Cosmic Imposter, which has red in it as well, and the mana base actually permits us to play these too, so we'll go over that in just a second. We have 2 dig ups here, so for 1 mana, sorcery speed, search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. Helps us fix our mana, which is going to be pretty important, but if you get this late in the game, then you can cast it for the cleave cost, which makes it read search your library for a card, put it into your hand, then shuffle, which that could come in handy, huh? We have 3 March of the Wretched Sorrows, which I think is the best option for removal for this particular build. I think the life gain on this is huge, and there are plenty of black cards to use for the first ability here too, so yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. We have a single Valky God of Lies, and of course later on in the match, if we top deck this, we could potentially play it out as Tybalt, which is just an amazing planeswalker that helps us close out games. And then Valky, in and of itself, can really disrupt games for aggro decks early on. Just taking out that creature that they thought they were going to play in time just does a lot. Even though it just gets burnt easily, at least you disrupted them for a turn, you know? We have 3 Reckoner Bankbusters, a pretty terrific card for a deck that runs a fair bit of instant removal and other stuff like that. If we don't end up using removal, we could tap this down, draw a card, and eventually it gets us some treasure, which helps us ramp or fix our mana if necessary. 3 Meathook Massacres, because today we're that person, guys. That's right, it's our turn to play Meathook. We have a single Path of Peril, which in some cases is actually going to be better than Meathook, but only one of them, because what it ends up doing for 3 mana, destroy all creatures with mana value 2 or less. And why do I say in some cases it's going to be better than Meathook? Because Luminarch Aspirant knows how to get above Meathook range, especially when your opponent plays 2 of them, or sometimes even 3 of them, and then it looks like they're about to run away with the game, but hopefully Path of Peril, you know, hits the Commanos, it hits the Hopeful Initiates, it hits the Luminarch Aspirants, all of that, and then it does have that cleave cost for 6, which then makes the card read destroy all creatures, which could also be really good. We have 4 Primal Adversaries here. Now, I was challenged over in the Discord to make Primal Adversary a good card, and this is the deck I came up with. I actually came up with like 4 or 5 different decks, and I think this one is the most unique, and I also think it's going to be the most powerful too, so that's why I landed on this Sultai build. Either way, this is a 3 mana 4/3 with Trample, not bad stats at all. When Primal Adversary enters the battlefield, you may pay a colorless and a green any number of times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, put that many +1/+1 counters on Primal Adversary. Then, up to that many target lands you control become a 3/3 wolf creature with haste. They are still lands. Okay, so a tough card to build around for that second ability. The first thought was, oh, I'll build like a trample deck, you know, with a bunch of trampley creatures and whatnot, but then I thought, well, it would be pretty cool to be able to cheat the Primal Adversary onto the board without spending mana, then spend a bunch of mana to use its ability, and then just get like 3 hasty wolves just swinging on in on the same turn. And we'll go over how we can actually pull that off in just a second. We have 2 Topiary Stompers. This is a 3 mana 4/4 with Vigilance. When it enters, you can search your library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield. Then there is a downside to this, these stats here. Stomper can't attack or block unless you control 7 or more lands, which I think we'll be able to get to quite easily in this build, but there is a reason why we're rocking 2 of these instead of 4. We have 2 Celestus, and I think mana fixing off the Celestus is a very valuable thing But that second ability where nighttime, well, if it's night, it becomes day. I'm sorry, hold on. Let me read the bottom ability first. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, you gain a life, and the amount of life gain you can actually pull off of the Celestus could be huge and could turn the tides of battle. But then also it helps you filter through your hand. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Nice. And then for 3 mana, you can tap it. If it's night, it becomes day. Otherwise, it becomes night. And you can activate this only as a sorcery, unfortunately. But that could be pretty good, because when that happens, you gain a life and you filter through your hand, and you might have a ton of mana already. You could drop this down to 1 if you're concerned about the whole legendary artifact nonsense, but honestly, the fact that you can just filter the second Celestus with this ability makes it worth it to have 2, in my opinion, you know? So in our 4 mana spot, we do have a couple Maulings here, which doubles as a land, so I am going to drop it in the mana base, but just being able to actually have extra mana, but then also being able to just spot remove is actually going to be very valuable here, and it's instant too. So we have 3 Chariots, which we'll go over in a second. We have 3 Binding of the Old Gods. So the first turn you play this out there, destroy target non-land permanent an opponent controls. And then the second ability, search your library for a forest card, not a basic forest, a forest card, put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. And then the third ability we don't worry about too much. It might come into play, it might not. Creatures you control gain death touch until end of turn. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, I suppose. Either way, second ability here helps us ramp quite nicely, and we can actually grab the Ziatora's Proving Ground and the Spara's Headquarters, because they both have forest in the name. And if you wanted to be a bit more budget about this, I believe the snow dual lands also have like forest and stuff, so you could rock the snow lands, I think, in place of these. But having the cycle ability on these is actually going to be pretty huge. Also, if you are going the budget route with the snow, then you won't have the red source from the Proving Ground to eventually play out the Cosmic Imposter. You'd have to completely rely on Treasure or the Celestus, so that's something to think about. Also, the white from the Spara's Headquarters works with the Path of Peril Cleave, so that's how we're able to pull off all 5 mana. And of course, yeah, Celestus helps us fix if we need to cast the Cleave off path and we don't have Headquarters, and also Treasure off of the Bankbuster too. Okay, 5 mana cards. We got 2 Wrenn and Sevens, because it's a beautiful planeswalker that works well with Chariot. Being able to copy those big old tree folk sounds pretty cool to me. And then we have 3 Tamiyo, Completed Sage, a 5 mana with a Completed, and like the whole Completed nonsense. I'm not going to go over that, but essentially instead of paying 5, you could pay 4 and 2 life, and then it comes out a little bit weaker, but that's not something we're going to look into often here. What we're really looking at on Tamiyo is the -X ability. Exile target non-land permanent card with mana value X from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card. So you guys may have seen this before, where you can do this for Binding of the Old Gods, get a token back, get that destroy target non-land permanent ability, and then copy it with the Chariot, so that way you can destroy another target non-land permanent. And of course, any tokens that you bring back with Tamiyo, you can copy with Chariot, which is pretty darn cool. So you could bring back a Primal Adversary with the Tamiyo, and if Tamiyo's already been out there for a full turn, so you untap and everything, now for the Adversary's ability, you have all of your mana open, so you can pay it like 3 times and maybe you have a ton of land. Now you're actually able to swing on in with a bunch of 3/3 wolves, which could be really, really cool. On the very top end, we have a single Titan of Industry. Because we're ramping so well in the deck, I think it would be foolish not to include a big old beefy creature. Now we do have 25 total lands, plus the 2 Maulings here for a total of 27 mana. Something to think about with Path of Peril, by the way, don't make this mistake. If you do have your lands out as creatures from the Adversary, then destroy all creatures with mana value 2 or less. I believe will hit your lands too, because the lands will technically have a 0 mana cost, right? So, or a 0 mana value. So yeah, that's something to think about. Okay, guys, hopefully I went over the deck well enough. Lots to touch on here, I suppose, but we do have some honorable mentions too. Now, we're really just splashing Tamiyo. It's mostly a Golgari deck with Tamiyo splashed in here, but I'm still calling it a Sultai build. So cards like Jwari, March, Hall of the Storm Giants, and the Soaring City, I just couldn't find room for because I didn't have that much blue already, and so the mana base would be even more convoluted if I decided to actually include any of those. Other forms of removal you could consider: Soul Shatter, especially if you're running into a lot of Goldspan or Virtuoso decks. Infernal Grasp is great removal, but I think March is going to be better here. And Bloodchief's Thirst is pretty darn good too, but it is sorcery speed, which I think is going to hold us back sometimes when we're trying to tap the Reckoner Bankbuster. Okay, anyways, let's go ahead, hop into some... Oh, buddy, that took me a while to go over. I apologize, guys. Yeah, let's get some standard ranked in, huh? Now for Thursday's video, I got obliterated playing some rotation-proof red. And so we actually ended up ranking down a little bit in that video, I think. So hopefully we can rank up a little bit here. Because when you rank down in gold, that's how you know it's time to switch decks. Okay. Yeah, not a bad hand. Not bad. I like having March open right away. Oh, Delver. Okay, this will be an interesting match. We could March the Delver this turn, but I really don't want to lose my Meathook, so let's see if they flip it. They usually do. Not this time. Nice. Okay. Swing for one. They have two open. Could be Jwari, could be protection, probably some form of protection. If it's Jwari, I'd hate to lose the Bankbuster that we just drew. I'm going to get the Abandoned Mire down and have this open for X's 1. And see if we can do that on their turn. Like right at the beginning, whenever it's like about to flip. I think it'll stop for us. Now we do X's 1 and then submit 0. Then what we end up doing here is forcing some protection, like a Slip Out the Back now or a Jwari Disruption on the March. Slip out the back, which means we don't take this damage this turn, and it doesn't flip even if it reveals because they phased it out. Very nice. At this point, okay. So the plan was Reckoner Bankbuster because we were playing around Jwari, but I realize now if we would have played Who Endures, we would have had Stomper open too. But yeah, it's gonna be Bankbuster. Oh, that just hit. That hit. Alright, let's go grab our blue source. Could grab a forest too, but I think mana fixing now is going to be pretty good. Oh, they flip it this turn though. They get a flip out the back. They have an essence capture for the Stomper. This is going to be tough because we still can't hit it with Meathook here. Now, nothing held open last turn, so I think the binding might hit. But I think they're just going to slip out the back. But we play this anyways to ramp a little bit. So eventually we can get the Meathook. So here's the slip. Scary stuff, guys. We're going down to 10 here. And what do we play other than the binding that we drew? Like attempt Chariot? Maybe, but then we still can't block in the air, you know? Let's get that little bit of ramp here. And we have a blue source, so I'm gonna grab that. Slip out. Yeah, Meathook is just one turn behind here. Could try to find more removal. We could just get the Chariot down too. Yeah, Meathook for 3 doesn't hit this huge card. Let's look for removal on our turn. We still have Stomper open, but we know that Essence Capture exists. The Essence Capture would bring this up to 6, bringing us one step closer to death, but that does mean if we top deck like our Titan of Industry, then we might be safe. Let's attempt the Stomper. So they could just let this hit, and that way they have the Essence Capture for a card like Titan of Industry. So now if we top deck Titan of Industry, at least we have a chance of actually playing it out there. So mono blue tempo, very scary. This is actually not the first time that this is the first deck we're going up against. So my guess is someone made this very popular. We have no other options here, guys. Meathook for 5 has to hit the board, and if it doesn't, it's over. That is a good game opponent. Good game? Question mark? I guess is more like it. Question mark. Because we did not do much there at all. The protection for Delver was huge. Tough game, tough game. I think our deck performed well, though. We definitely didn't have any issues finding the land that we needed. Hopefully we get more matches where we can actually play cards. You know, that would be good. The Stomper play might have been risky with the Essence. We knew that the Essence Capture was coming down, but like I said, maybe then if we top decked our single Titan, then it could have been a different game. Titan has reach as well, so that could have been really good. I don't like this hand, guys. I don't like this. But, and our opponent's going first too. I'm gonna keep it for the sake of testing it. The big reason is we don't have our turn 1 dig up. If we did, if this was a forest instead of a swamp, then this would be way better. So right up against some Boros. Alright. So turn 2 dig up could be fine. We could find an untapped land, and then if we draw... I would play with fire our face opponent if that's what you have. The Luminarch needs to be removed immediately. I mean, we knew that was going to hit the board. Okay, let's do this. Dig up. And the mauling, we have the... Okay. We have the Celestus for the blue source when it comes time. And mauling is the only form of removal we have here. So we actually have to keep the mauling in hand. So let's grab a blue now, I suppose. No, double black. We have another swamp in hand too. And a couple Celestus, so turn 3 right into a Cavalier would be bad. Another Luminarch, that's equally as bad. If they plug it all into the single Luminarch though, they want to spread this out. Don't put all of your eggs into one basket. Yeah, that's what I would do, for sure. A Meathook. Yep, so we're gonna get the Celestus down. Does help us ramp, but Meathook cannot keep up with Luminarch by any means. And so Path of Peril would be really, really good. But Meathook can hit for 3 if they end up plugging all of those counters into their third creature here. Could be a Raiju, which could still help. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Buff the Raiju. Buff the Luminarch. Full swing. And a Meathook for 3 doesn't get us there. Oh, no, guys. Hey, a Path of Peril off the top would be insane, but Raiju gets over that, too. Down to 4, and it's not looking great. Oh, Path of Peril! Oh, man, it doesn't hit the Raiju, but that is beautiful. X is 3, yeah. Not a lot we could do here, guys. We have 2 mana open after we play this. And that just doesn't get us there. A creature you control dies. Never a creature an opponent controls. So we don't have the double black. We don't have enough black sources to play Meathook and the Path. Needed one more black source on the board here. So it's just going to be Path of Peril and pass to the opponent and let them win the game here. They actually don't know what we have, but yeah, that wasn't much of a fight, was it, guys? Oh no. Oh no. I mean, I was talking about it in the last video and a little bit at the beginning of this one, right? Standard's been really, really tough on me recently, but yeah, good game. I have no removal in hand, although some spot removal for the Raiju would have been good there. Actually, March of the Wretched Sorrow would have been really good in this match, huh? A little bit of life gain. Being able to actually pay the X with other cards in our hand, that could have been huge. Maybe even enough to take out the Raiju that turn and gain life. Well, at this point, I want to say, I do think that our decks, our deck was more than capable to handle itself in the last couple matches, but we didn't get there. Not this time. A good hand. At least we have the Path right away in case we're up against more Boros, which seems to be likely today. Okay, some Orzhov life gain. Very nice. Path is good. Path is really good against all this. Binding's a great draw. We'll get our blue source down and get ready for the Deathcap, and we might Path of Peril right away. They didn't play anything. Probably anticipating... Which one do I like more? Ramp off the Celestus or off the Stomper? I think I like ramp off the Celestus more, because that starts the daytime nighttime cycle, and then potentially we could start. Okay, oh yeah, we got some clerics down to 15, and that is a very, very unfortunate cleric to go up against here. So let's go ahead and play this out on black. Meathook for 3, I suppose, is probably the play. At least we finally get to successfully do this. And then what ends up happening here is they do get to bring one of the other cards back, but at least we gain 3 life back up to 18. Like, I don't think just because the Skyclave was on the board, we didn't Meathook there. Like, I think that was definitely a Meathook time. Voice. Okay. We have a Who Endures, and a Wrenn and Seven could be really good here too. Let's start with the dig up to get a land. We're gonna actually grab a forest here. Keep the Who Endures in case it comes in handy. And then we're gonna drop the Wrenn. And we are gonna get that Tree Folk down. Hey, GG opponent, we actually got there, guys. Oh, man. Oh, buddy. Okay, now we're talking. Now here comes the win streak. I'm ready. I am super ready. Yeah, one of the things with Magic is, you know, overall it is a game, and overall it does rely on a fair bit of randomness, you know? Even though there's definitely ways to make it a little bit less random. Okay. Don't mind it. We have tons of land in the deck, guys. Tons of land. So we should be fine. And we go first here too, which is pretty lucky. Blue source for the opponent. Let's get that Bankbuster down. Yeah, overall, it's a pretty random game, and so sometimes you will just have moments where it's just like, ah, man, you know what? I think the opponent got pretty lucky there, or you know, something along those lines. All right, I'm going to attempt the Primal Adversary because a counter on it isn't too bad, and it does. Nice. It actually hits here. We could power up Bankbuster and attempt to swing, but I feel like this is going to be a Fateful Absence. Yeah, what the crap. You know, let's do it. Let's do it, guys. Sounds like fun, actually. And a Fateful Absence on Bankbuster isn't that bad for us either. Eventually we could bring it back off Tamiyo too, which seems pretty cool. Oh, March. Oh, that exiles it. Nice. Oh my. What did they exile to play that? Okay, yeah, we're up against some control. Well, may the best control deck win. Technically, we're not a control deck, but yeah. Uh-oh, guys. No double green for the Stomper. Yeah, this time round, we're not getting the mana, are we? That's not good, because March of the Wretched Sorrow isn't going to do anything against this deck. They could eventually get a little tiny creature, but yeah, us missing a land there is really bad. Especially when Binding could have taken out the Celestus, which could have been huge when they only had 1 mana open, so like no counter spells or anything. Passes it back. That's hey, 4th mana. Let's go. Okay. Well, now it's... now the Binding's probably not going to hit, but we could start with a swing and watch a Wandering Emperor drop. A Wandering Emperor does get hit by the March of the Wretched Sorrow, too. Wandering Emperor exiles the adversary, though. Whereas if we go start with Binding, they might counter it, and then they might not have a Wandering Emperor this turn. Alright, let's start with Binding. It helps us ramp, too. Disdainful Stroke, nice. So they have 3 mana open still. Can we get that 4 through? Doesn't look like it. That's the Fateful Absence. Okay. So did we already take too long? Probably not. We're probably still in this a little bit. There's a big problem against with control going up against mid-range, is I think that control's technically favored. Not seeing land here. We have tons of land in the deck. I'm gonna still attempt the ramp off the Binding. We're looking for that second forest, so Stomper can be played, so we can continue to ramp off of that. Okay, so they did end up having a Wandering Emperor, but they opted for the Fateful Absence, so that way their Emperor could stabilize their board. Pretty smart. Revitalize, yep, back up to 20. Goes for that, I think. Okay, we really need to see more land off the top, guys. Yeah, we really, really do. Let's go for the Proving Ground. I could attempt to draw off the Clue, but I think it's just going to be March for 3 and try to hit the Emperor, and I think we do it on our turn so it minimizes how much they draw into like more counter spells and such. I think we do this on our turn. How do you guys feel about it? Submit 0, hit the Emperor. If they have a counter spell, then, you know, they had it either way. Waiting for their turn just doesn't seem like the greatest thing, though. Okay, they still have their Samurai. I think I hear the sound going out a little bit. It probably is. I'm not going to restart the game, though. We're getting not pretty close to the end of the video, but I have a feeling this match is going to take a second, so. Down to 17. Memory Deluge can help them find a lot here. Hey, beautiful. We actually hit a land that we can play. It comes out tapped, unfortunately, but it's something. We have double green to attempt Stomper, which blocks beautifully. They have 3 cards in hand here. Stomper hits. Grab a green source. And we have the Clue open. And we'll do that on their turn. Stomper can block now too, so... I don't know, guys. Anyone's game, but I have a bad feeling. Okay, Celestus number 2 dropping down. See, they think double Celestus is worth it as well. End up passing it back to me. We're going to use that Clue. Another Stomper, not bad. Primal Adversary. Okay, let's see if we can start to get this through, huh? So what we could do is attempt the Tamiyo, or we can +1 it to tap down their Samurai, swing for 4. I think that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Let's do it. We'll have 2 mana open. That kind of sucks because that means nothing else can be done this turn. But at least that also means that... So we could -4, bring back Binding, but they have this 3 mana open here. We got to be super cautious about what we end up doing. Oh, 4 mana open, actually. So Fateful Absence, we still get that ability through, and now the clue is open. We can safely swing for 4. And we can use that clue to draw another card. Okay, they're probably going to pass right to our turn because they have Memory Deluge. Start with the clue, draw. Anyone's game, guys, I'm telling you. But it doesn't feel like it's anyone's game, but I think it is. Probably safely play this out on green, I hope. Meathook for 3 could be pretty good. I really want to get the Tamiyo down safely, but... Start with a swing. Yeah, we could get more damage through with Adversary, but that's if Adversary hits here. If it doesn't, then I'd rather go Tamiyo. Tamiyo number 2, right? I'm thinking they don't have anything to stop this. I think it's going to be Memory Deluge this turn. And what we end up doing... We could go -4 for Binding, but I'm going to try to finish the game out next turn by bringing back Primal Adversary. That's the plan. Let's hope they don't have any extra removal here. This could be a Jwari. This is a great game, guys. This is a really good one. Jwari Disruption, yep, so that's pretty good. I'm surprised they didn't go... I guess they... Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't let us play this. Because they didn't play any Doom Scars or anything yet. Surprised it wasn't just a Memory Deluge. So we have 8 mana, guys. So what that means is Tamiyo for -3. Brings back the Adversary from the grave. They pass it to us. What's in their hand, guys? What could it be? Celestus gaining them a ton of life this game. Well, maybe not a ton, but a fair bit, right? Like about 3 or so. Valky can come down. This is going to be the -3. Bring back the Adversary. Come on, guys. Let's get there. Power up some lands and swing on in. Alright. So we go green, green. We go 1, 2. That's 10 damage. We can go green, black. Could go 1 more to power up 3, but I don't think so. I think we do it twice and then decline. Because we don't want to get too greedy, because one of those lands are going to be untapped then. We can do you and you. That is sick, guys. That is so cool. See, if we had 1 more untapped land, then we might have had 13 damage on the board here. They have 2 cards in hand. That Memory Deluge is going to come down this turn. They are looking for answers. They could find a Fading Hope, which would be devastating to our Primal Adversary token, but I think what they're really searching for is a board wipe, getting rid of some of our land, as well as just everything else. A board wipe would be bad, but we still have the Tamiyo. We still have the other Primal Adversary, which makes our lands have haste. Depopulate! Okay, they have 4 mana open still. Come on, guys, we could get there. We could totally do this. We could totally do this, guys. Oh, if I would have tapped down a little bit differently last turn, we could have played Meathook for 2, huh? Oh, that would have been really good for us, probably. Can bring back a Stomper, but it doesn't get haste. If we play this, X is 2. And then swing in for 3. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I feel like they have another board wipe. How do you guys feel about this? Well, let's see if they counter this first. Because I think the adversary drops here. We're going to go this, decline, power up the pathway. Ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous. Let's swing on in and see if a Wandering Emperor exiles our pathway. I'm scared. We're losing a lot of land. It's one of those things where if you don't have a lot of ways to protect it, yeah, Wandering Emperor would be bad, but at least we could... No. Our Tamiyo is only at 3. We can't bring back the Binding of the Old Gods. March, but they're going to take the 3 down to 1. Oh my goodness, guys. Losing land is rough, but we can bring back the... We could have tried to tap the Celestus. Let's do that this turn. That way we're... Bringing back another creature would be good too. But we might be able to bring back a creature anyways and then Meathook for that last bit of damage. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Depopulate number 2 coming down. 3 mana open. Okay. Here's the question. So that was an exile on the adversary because they know what the deck's doing. We can bring back Stomper and go Meathook and try to win, but they have 3 mana open, 3 cards in hand. So if we start with Valky, we get to see. We could actually just play this out as the imposter too, but it probably gets Dwaried. I think it's going to be Valky. Let's look into their hand and see what they got here. Come on, guys. Come on. If there's no counterspell, we Meathook for 1 and win the game. Negate? No, and Test of Talent. Okay, Test of Talents only hits instant and sorcery. So if we X is 1, then we don't have enough for the other Meathook. The negate, guys, and the yeah, we don't have the other black source for the Meathook here. So let's start by tapping down the Celestus. We know that Fateful Absence can take out Valky, and we need to get rid of that negate in their hand. So we're going to start by X is 0. Ridiculous, guys, ridiculous. So what happens is they might Fateful Absence the Valky, let us keep Meathook, so that way they have negate open for another one. But I think it's negate the Meathook, let us keep the Valky. Yep. We have the other one in hand. This is absurd, guys. I love this match, though. This is a great one. They're back up to 2. Oh, no. Oh, no. We played 2 things. That's on me, guys. I forgot about the life gain and the Celestus over there. We know that the Fateful Absence... Okay, yep, they're going back up to 3. Oh, come on, guys. We can get there. We can do this. Celestus has been huge for the opponent so far. Actually, they've had everything they need, huh? So they discard a Memory Deluge. Fateful Absence on the Tamiyo, which might mean that Valky can swing in, and we might be able to drop this Meathook for 1. Let's start with the swing. Wait, we should actually start with the clue, because we could draw a Primal Adversary, which would be better than the Meathook this turn. Titan of Industry, holy cow. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Revitalize! No! Back up to 6 for the opponent. Do they have anything to stop this? Okay, we get 2 through, and the question is, do we just play Meathook for 2 The answer is yes. Yes, we do. X is 0. Get the Meathook down. That's still being held open. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Okay. Can we get there? Titan of Industry is a great draw. Another Revitalize for the opponent. Back up to 7. Oh, my goodness. What an uphill battle, guys. We can do this, though. I believe in us. The double Memory Deluge is terrifying, to say the least. March of the Wretched Sorrow. All right, let's start with the swing. We got to attempt that Titan this turn. I don't care if it could be a Jwari. There's no doubt in my mind that this Titan needs to hit the board as soon as possible. Not this turn, or not next turn, this turn. Let's do it. So Memory Deluge, search for, they have 2 mana open, search for Jwari. Oh, that's such a good odds for them, isn't it? Oh, Titan, come on, hit the board, buddy. You can do this. Come on, Titan. We are over 40 minutes into the video now. This is a very long match. I hope... Disdainful Stroke, no! Guys, they have 25 cards. They've drawn 9 more cards than us this game. Come on, we could get there. The simple fact is... Well, yeah, Primal Adversary off the top would be good. Hey, Chariot, now that's pretty darn good. If I've ever seen it, that's pretty darn good. Guys, you know what this means? We can, if Chariot hits, we get 2 cats. We can Path of Peril for the final 3 damage. But if Path of Peril doesn't hit, or if the opponent drops the 4th Revitalize, then it's not over. Do we risk it is the question. I think their Test of Talents is gone. All it takes is a little bit of life gain. It could even be a Wandering Emperor. I think we pass. We pass. Okay, yeah, another Memory Deluge. Alright. Alright, they're gonna have 2 mana open here. It wasn't another Wandering Emperor, so... See, the Path of Peril might have gotten us the victory, but I doubt it. I really do, because they still have 2 open after the Deluge. They might deck out before killing us, guys. But I doubt it. I'm sure they have methods in play. Like, they have the Hall of the Storm Giants here. Okay, what the crap do you do? Let's see. X is 0, enters the battlefield with X shard tokens. So 1 target creature you control can't be blocked this turn. Deals 2 damage to target tapped creature for each card you've drawn this turn. Okay. We could take this out. X is 2. Let's see if they actually... Submit 0. Let's see if they counter this. This could be really good. If they spend more mana on their turn, it could be really good for us. We're going back up to 19. They go for the negate on the march, saving their Planeswalker. They're going to go down to 2 here from the Meathook Massacre. Oh, it's good to hear sound sometimes. So they're expecting us to power up Chariot. They're going back up to 3. That's rough, man. Celestus keeping them in the game. Don't underestimate Celestus by any means. So we're going to start with the cleave cost. On Dig Up here, we still have what it takes to cast Path of Peril. Okay. So we need to get that last little bit of damage through. What is the best way to do so? We know that they probably have removal in hand. Wrenn and Seven could be huge, but probably not. I think we're going to bring the Primal Adversary to hand, where there's a chance. They don't know what we grabbed here. If we power up Chariot and they end up just simply removing it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, can't power up Hall. If it's simple removal, then we can still Path of Peril. Our 3 cats. However, if it's a Wandering Emperor, no, that brings them up to 5, which means we don't get this through. Oh no, guys. Oh no. The life gain, this is brutal. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm sorry that we're just like dragging this on. The Path of Peril, that only hits them for 3, bringing them down to 2. The Wandering Emperor saves their butt this time round. Let's see if Primal Adversary can get that victory next turn. Opponent, I'm not going anywhere, buddy. You're going to have to start doing damage eventually. Yep, kill a cat down to 4. Have enough for the Hall. Drops another Hall, 2 cards remaining in hand. Let's see if that Primal Adversary can get us there next turn. Nope, they get a chump blocker. They're smart about their Wandering Emperor. Very, very, very smart opponent, guys. They've been really holding this down. Really holding this down. So they have enough to power up Hall, but it's still worth going. It's still worth going. Hold on. Green, green, blue, Primal Adversary. Here's why it's still worth going Primal Adversary, because if they kill our lands, we're still pinging them for 1 off the Meathook regardless. So we can go power up. Now we're powering up the green source here. And then decline. Wait, if we go one more time, we'll have more land on the board. Yeah, what the crap? Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. The game has gone on for long enough, even though it's going to come out tapped. Even though one of these is going to come out tapped, I think it's going to be worth it. Okay. So a full swing here. They block 2 of them. 2 of them die. 2 of them get through. Maybe. Let's do it, guys. All in. Power up the Hall. Block, block. Pings him for 2 off of the Meathook. 2 gets through. We are so close. I believe in us, guys. It's gonna be okay. Yep. So all this happens. Come on, guys. We can get there. We're almost 50 minutes into the video. If only we could Path of Peril on the same turn. Opponent's down to 17 cards. What a miserable deck to be running. Yeah, that's smart. They go right back up to 2 off of this, and they get to cycle through their hand. Oh, they're really good though. They're good at piloting this miserable blue-white control. Could go -1 here. They're really going for it. They go plus on their Planeswalker. They still have a Hall of the Storm Giants open, 2 cards remaining in hand. They're going to go back up to 3 because the Celestus is holding them on. What an important card right now in this game. Can we get there, guys? We're going to full swing. There it is! There it is, guys. We held on and we got that victory. 25-minute game, 50% win rate. Oh, man. Hey, Primal Adversary doing a ton of stuff there. What a worthwhile match. Oh, buddy. I do not like playing against blue-white control, but that was a fun time. That was a good one. We got that victory. It was worth it. Here's the deck list again, guys. Tell me what you think down in the comments. What would you add? What would you take out? I would add another Titan of Industry. Seems pretty important. If you go up a Titan of Industry, you could drop things like Celestus. I don't think Stomper is going to be as important as you may think, but it did a lot, especially in that last match where we're able to tap down opponent's creatures, swing in with Stomper, and still have that blocker on the next turn as well. I think March of the Wretched Sorrow is a pretty darn good card overall. You could probably drop a Dig Up too if you really wanted to. I think it's going to be pretty good for fixing that mana base though. The Maulings are probably going to come in handy a lot more than you would expect too. Path of the Peril seems pretty good, especially against Boros, but if you don't get it right on turn 3, then it kind of falls behind very fast unless you can eventually cast it for its full cleave cost. Either way, guys, if you made it this far into the video, y'all are champions, and I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.